Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Superman, Earth's mightiest hero, who possesses incredible super strength with his invulnerable body and indestructible super costume. All know his amazing supervision, which can see through solid walls, magnify distant objects, and melt steel. But just who is Superman? Where did he come from? How did the Man of Steel reach Earth and acquire his fantastic superpowers? It is a strange story that begins many years ago, far away from Earth. In trackless outer space, there once existed Krypton, a planet of giant size, revolving around a red sun. Its people, possessed of high intelligence, had built a super scientific civilization far beyond that of Earth. Robots performed all labor.
Jor-El, please set the electronic watchdog, and I'll wind the mechanical maid to do all the housework before we wake in the morning.
Strange creatures worked at Krypton construction sites.
Engineer, I hope these new improved robots will be able to build this 1-mile bridge in 8 hours, not 10 like last year's robots.
One fateful day, ominous tremors shook the planet.
A Krypton quake. Our buildings are swaying.
Oh, I hope it will stop soon.
But the quakes increased daily. And finally, at the Krypton Council of Scientists, one member pronounced shocking words.
Yes, gentlemen. My instruments show that Krypton's core of radioactive uranium is unstable. Soon, our planet will explode.
You are mad, Jor-El. You know that we of the Council have absolute faith in our cosmic clock. The supercomputer in the clock has predicted that our world will be safe from all disasters for endless years.
The clock is wrong. I tell you, Krypton is doomed. We must build rocket-driven space arcs to save our people, and we must...
Robot guards, remove him from the Council. You've been reading science fiction tales, Jor-El. Until you clear your thinking, you are dismissed from our Council.
Scorned by his fellow scientists, the bitter Jor-El returned to his home with his wife Lara and baby Kal-El.
No one believes my warning, Lara. But I know I'm right. If no space arcs are built, we'll all die.
But you've been experimenting with small space rockets. Couldn't you...
Yes, they will work, but they're too small to hold adults. I'd need help to build larger rockets. I have only these 2 rockets left, but at least they will save our baby if no one else. I'll use our dog Crypto for the last test flight today.
Hush, Kal-El. Crypto will return safely.
But their dog, Crypto, did not return. By cosmic mischance, a meteor struck the test rocket, causing it to drift far into space, out of orbit. Even Jor-El did not know that years later, this rocket would drift to Earth. But with time against him, Jor-El worked feverishly to complete the last small rocket. With barely hours to spare, the sad couple placed their infant son inside the capsule.
It's ready for launching, Lara. Stand back.
Oh, Kal-El.
Lara.
My baby.
Please, Lara. I've aimed the rocket toward a living planet I discovered in my telescope. Our sun will be able to live in its atmosphere.
Goodbye, my baby. Good luck.
The couple watched the tiny rocket as it sped along, up into space beyond their doomed planet. Short moments later, Jor-El's tragic prediction came true. In a cosmic burst of light, the giant planet Krypton exploded into 1,000,000 fragments. The fragments of the planet, flung out into the universe, scattered in all directions. Later, they became known as the green substance kryptonite, the only substance able to affect Superman's powers. Time passed. As the tiny rocket neared its destination, the living planet, Earth. upon landing, the rocket's impact tossed the baby Kal-El safely out and away from the rocket. For a moment later, as planned by Jor-El, the explosion of its super fuel destroyed the rocket itself. But the baby Kal-El was unharmed. Found and adopted by a childless couple, the Kents, who named him Clark Kent, the baby soon displayed amazing feats of strength. For, as it was later proved, all people and things from Krypton became invulnerable and super powerful on Earth. Realizing that his secret must be kept from the world, the Kents raised the super baby to super boy and taught him to use his great powers to fight crime and aid humanity. The rest is history. As Clark Kent, now grown to manhood, in his guise of a reporter for the Daily Planet, he is able to fight evil in his true identity as Superman. And every day, as the citizens of Metropolis look up in never-ceasing awe, as a flying figure flashes by, a familiar cry often rings out.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
No, it's Superman.
Up, up, and away!
Yes, all the world knows of Superman's amazing feats. But many have never heard the story of Superman's first adventure. In June 1938, the very first story ever published about Superman appeared in Action Comics #1. Here, then, from this very first historic issue, the complete story of Superman's first adventure. Telegraph lines broadcast to the world news of a terrible disaster. The Valley Hole Dam is cracking under the strain of a huge downpour. Should it give way, a mountain of water will sweep down the valley, killing thousands and destroying the fertile land. In the office of the Daily Planet,
Kent, get me Clark Kent.
Oh, he isn't in the office.
Well, look for him, Lois, and have him report to me before I lose my mind.
Why not have me handle the assignment?
Can't. It's too important. This is no job for a girl.
Oh, no job for a woman. I've half a mind to...
Lois encounters Clark outside the newspaper office.
Oh, Clark Kent. You're just the man I'm looking for.
You mean you're actually glad to see me?
I should say I am. Would you do me a favor and cover an assignment for me?
Would I? You know I'd do anything for you.
Good. Go to the city hospital's maternity ward. Mrs. Mahoney is expecting sex tuplets.
What a story. Thanks, Lois. You're a peach to let me handle this.
Later,
One round-trip ticket to Valley Ho, please.
at the city hospital, Clark Kent learns that no Mrs. Mahoney is registered there.
That's strange. Say, I wonder if Lois is by any chance pulling a double cross. I'd better get right back to the office.
You bring in months on the fire, and you waste your time at a hospital.
But Chief, I
And the
didn't
worst
know...
part of it is that the last train for Valley Ho has already left. Kent, report to the cashier. You're fired.
But Kent has other plans. When alone, he strips off his outer garments and stands revealed in the Superman costume.
No, forget that story.
From atop the great Daily Planet building, a weird figure leaps out into the night. Huge distances are swiftly covered by it with giant leaps.
Looks like the train headed for Valley Ho. Well, hello, train, and goodbye! If Lois thinks she's going to scoop me, she's badly mistaken.
With the speed of light, he reaches the railroad trestle.
What the?
A torrent has loosened the bridge's supports, causing the tracks to tilt, making a wreck inevitable. The warning whistle of the approaching train is heard. Without a moment's hesitation, the cloaked figure mounts a peak of the rocks and dives forward.
No time to lose.
Seizing the bridge's supports, Superman presses up, up, until the track's level. Superman holds the bridge rigid until the train passes over. After which he permits it to crash. Lois, among other passengers, rushes to the windows.
What was that?
The bridge collapsed. An instant earlier, we'd have been killed.
At the next junction, send a warning that the bridge is out. We must warn the other trains.
When Valley Ho is reached, Lois fights her way through the mob at the station.
It looks like everyone except me is trying to get away. Taxi! Oh, will you give me a lift to the dam?
You can have the car, lady. I'm taking a train out of here.
Drives the taxi at top speed. The dam is not far distant. Atop the dam, Superman has been battling like mad to keep it from breaking.
If I can only hold out a little longer, most of the people hereabouts will have cleared out. It's beginning to give.
Suddenly, with a great roar, the huge dam collapses. Superman leaps above the water's turbulent fury. But Lois finds herself directly in the path of the great, irresistible flood of onrushing water.
Oh, the dam is gone. I haven't a chance.
A car in the flood's path with a girl inside. I've got to save her.
But before Superman can reach the auto, it is caught up and swept along by the flood. Trapped within the car, Lois appears doomed to a watery death. Till Superman, upon reaching it, tears the auto apart and rises with Lois in his arms toward the water's surface. Powerful strokes bring them to shore. Instantly, Superman is off like a shot, racing the flood. He catches up with its beginning and passes it. It is a fantastic race with the lives of thousands at stake, with Superman in the lead. Ahead of the raging, rushing torrent, he springs to a high pinnacle. Then pits his tremendous strength against a great projection of rock. Before Superman's might, the huge mountain peak cracks and cascades downward in the face of the flood. The avalanche of rock crams shut the mountain gap below, cutting off, diverting the flood to another direction, away from Valley Ho town.
Phew! Barely in time.
Oh, you did it. You saved all those people. Oh, I could just kiss you. As a
Lady,
matter of fact, I
lady,
will.
please. Wow! What a kiss!
A super kiss for a Superman.
Suddenly, sweeping Lois off her feet, Superman leaps outward.
Enough of that. I've got to bring you back to safety, where I'll be safe from you.
The first time you carried me like this, I was frightened. Just as I was frightened of you. But how I love it. Just as I love you.
When Valley Ho town is reached...
Oh, don't go. Stay with me, always.
Perhaps we'll meet again!
Later...
Hello, Chief. This is Clark Kent calling from Valley Ho. Yeah, I got here by airplane and have some sensational news. Am I rehired? Okay. Connect me with the rewrite man.
As Clark leaves the phone booth, he encounters...
Lois. That wasn't a nice stunt you pulled on me. But I still like you.
Oh, who cares? The spineless worm. I can hardly bear looking at him after having been in the arms of a real He-Man.